Thank you for joining JTV News. I'm Peter Gay Coombs, and here are the headlines. Upset in the opposition Virgin Islands party as Foy topples Fraser.
We're going to build the Virgin Islands party one penny at a time.
TRC CEO defends new controversial telecoms levy.
We are not here to collect monies and to filter it to the government. No, that's not fair, because at the end of the day, as the consumer is saying, it's something that's going to be passed on to the consumers.
Police in search of a man who reportedly viciously chopped a woman. And did you know that the government is willing to assist you with your living expenses as well as other social assistance if you fall in hard times?
One person might be eligible for $200, and the grant ranges as your family size increases.
In the Caribbean, tragedy in the skies as a Colombian airplane crashes, killing members of a Brazilian football team and journalists in tow. And former Cuban leader Fidel Castro is as polarizing in death as he was in life. In our medical segment, Dr. Robot. Find out how robots are saving lives and winning hearts in the operating theater. Dr. Geronimo Jones will have that report. I'll be back with the news in detail after this break.
It's the most wonderful time to stay connected with Flow. Join our new super fast LTE mobile network and enjoy the new Samsung Galaxy S7 with a chance to win a VR headset, or Alcatel Pixie 4 with free move band from as low as $49, and get double data when you activate a select prepaid or postpaid data or combo plan. All this plus free gifts and cash to be won with Flow this wonderful Christmas. So visit us in store today.
Wonderful time of the year.
And now the news. By their votes for Andrew Foy as chairman, members of the Virgin Islands VIP party have given a clear indication that they are ready for a leadership change away from Julian Fraser. Fraser ascended to the position of party chairman, having been duly elected by VIP members in 2014. It was the first time in the history of the VIP that the party had a contest for its most senior executive post. The party then contested the 2015 national elections and lost, only securing 2 seats in the House of Assembly. Those 2 seats are occupied by Mr. Fraser as leader of the opposition and representative of District 3, while Foy represents District 1. And that's when things started to get sticky in the party.
Virgin Islands party members placed the blame for the election's defeat squarely at the feet of Julian Fraser and started calling for a change in the party's leadership. That change came on November 30, and now Andrew Foy is chairman of the Virgin Islands party. Foy, in speaking with JTV News, said he is ready for the challenge ahead, with the first task to reunite VIP members, a process he said started immediately following the November 30 elections.
The atmosphere was normal for anything where you're fighting for one prize. Some people think that it's uncommon, but every organization where there's a competition for one prize, there are going to be some tense times. But the beauty of it is that once it's over, we have made a decision as a party to put this behind us and move forward. But more so as chairman, which I want to thank all of those, especially God, for giving me the opportunity to be chairman. My role in life has always been to try to bring peace rather than war. So being the leader of the party now is up to me to help set the tone. So my job is to set the tone to make sure the party transforms from a lot of the division, so to speak, and bringing the unity.
Many are of the perception that for a revival to take place in the Virgin Islands party, bringing it to its former glory, fresh blood is needed, but according to Foy, this is not necessarily so.
The last time I ran, because of course after having a leader for almost 16 years, it was wide open. And this time around, I saw it as an opportunity for me to bring fresh ideas. Some people say that nothing can change unless you get totally fresh people, but things can change from within. Look at sports. The Cubs still name the Cubs after 108 years. They're still playing in Chicago. They were in Wrigley Field for years. They just continue to change management and change the players. So you can change from within, but more so we haven't changed now. We have transformed from within. the new Virgin Islands Party must be transparent. It must be accountable. And I tell people that some person will say I'm the last to say that, but I think I'm the best person to bring back a sense of accountability, to bring back and restore transparency, because I'm battle tested and I'm more mature in politics and as a person. And I want to leave the Virgin Islands Party and the Virgin Islands better than I met it. So my philosophy as a leader in the latter part of my political career, I'm still young, but gotten to it younger, is different than when I came in.
In positioning themselves to take the reign of power come the next national elections, Foy said the VIP is currently moving apace with a strategic plan to mend their internal divisions.
There was some divides, and at the end of the day, every family going to have their ups and downs. But as a leader, we're going to focus on those things that unite us, which are far more than those that divide us. We're going to rebuild the Virgin Islands Party. We are now in the process of raising money ourselves. We came up with a penny a day to by each member, and put each member responsible for a certain number of other persons to come up with a penny a day, which for each day of the year, 365 days in the year, to give us $3.65 each one of us have to contribute towards the party, and we do that monthly. So when we have everybody that does that, we're going to end up with a couple pennies. So we're going to build the Virgin Islands Party one penny at a time, get an office. We're going to make sure that we staff the office. We're going to make sure that we also pay the bills that we owe, because we definitely have to pay our creditors. So we already started towards a payment plan. We're also going to rebrand the Virgin Islands Party, because we realize that we have sat down for too long and allow people to brand the Virgin Islands Party and define us rather than we defining ourselves. So we, in those areas, before we even start talking about getting back to government, we have to spend a couple months getting back ourselves, back to the foundation and the purpose of which the Virgin Islands Party was formed.
For the JTV News, I'm Kathy Richards.
Meanwhile, one of the newest members of the VIP, Dr. Natalia Wheatley, also known as Shawande Ururu, who recently switched from the People's Empowerment Party PEP, was elected as the party's president. He replaced Carvin Malone, who did not seek re-election. Dr. Wheatley was endorsed by 54 delegates, a vast contrast to the 19 who voted for Preston Stout, the son of VIP founder H. Lavity Stout.
Well, I got the sense that perhaps maybe somebody may have been nominated from the floor. So mentally I prepared myself for that. And Preston Stout is someone who I have a lot of respect for. So I know that he's a good person for the job as well. I had a lot of confidence in him. And even though he was unsuccessful, I let him know that I would like to work closely with him. So I'm very pleased that he's a part of the process. He actually made a statement that he wanted to contribute more to the party. You may or may not know that he ran in the last 2 elections, just like I did. And we weren't running with the Virgin Islands Party. So I think it's a really strong message.
Dr. Wheatley says he is ready for the task ahead.
In the cartoon, I had a lot of energy as well, and I had a much smaller stomach, so that's something for me to aspire to. Now, I have a lot of energy. Leading up to the election, it was a little tough for the party because there was a strong contest between Honorable Foy and Honorable Fraser. And, sometimes, in the heat of passion, perhaps maybe people can be a little dejected and a little low. But after the meeting last night, everyone was in great spirits. Spirits were high. People were very positive and optimistic about the party moving forward. And we have a lot of ideas, and we're going to hit the ground running.
The Social Development Department is inviting persons to take full advantage of the wide range of assistance available for individuals and families facing challenging circumstances. Times are tough everywhere, and it's no different in the BVI. However, there are social assistance programs available from the government to help with child and elder care, health needs, as well as persons released from the correctional system. But not many persons are aware of these valuable resources. Director of the Social Development Department, Annie Malone Fret, and Intake Officer Ginny Jacobs shared the list of services with Spotlight host Edu Enka.
We have programs that cater primarily to the disabled population. We have program primarily that helps person either on a short-term, medium-term, or long-term basis financially, which is called our social assistance program.
We cater to rent assistance, we cater to financial assistance, food and home and household supplies, burial as well, daycare assistance,
rental assistance,
and travel
for medical purposes. And we have community services, which includes community development programs and also probation and parole.
The social assistance programs are available to both unemployed and employed persons on a short, medium, or long-term basis. A needs assessment will determine what kind of aid the applicant or applicants may qualify for and the duration. Here is how the rent assistance program works.
Assistance is granted by the size of your family or your household. Initially, I think there was a point in time when we used to heavily rely on individual assessments. But we're now moving towards household assessments, because you can have one person within a household who comes in and applies, but you're living in a household with 5 other persons who are working and you're contributing to that household. So when we look in totality at what is coming into the household and you're possibly benefiting from that, then those are also weighing factors. One person might be eligible for $200, and the grant ranges as your family size increases, then the grant raised accordingly. So the maximum right now a person would be eligible for would be $360 in terms of a household of more than 3 or 5 persons.
Young persons in search of career training and placement can also reach out to the Social Development Department.
Yes, we do assist those persons in looking at a job, in helping them set up their resumes and so forth. If they are not able to do a resume, we guide them on how to do a resume. We guide them on how they must dress for certain interviews and so forth.
Persons applying for the social assistance programs from the government must meet at least one basic qualification.
One of the criteria are you have to be a legal resident residing in the territory for a period of 5 to 7 years.
Yes.
Okay.
To qualify.
Fine.
Without us getting to the root causes, and I mean, some people might think we're being intrusive, but in the midst of us trying to get you the best possible help, we need to necessarily be able to be more than intrusive, but be respectful in the process.
Officers of the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force are on the hunt for 51-year-old Reynold Leslie Peters, a native of St. Vincent, who allegedly severely chopped a woman, Lucinda Gordon. According to information reaching JTV News, during the incident on the night of November 28, Gordon was reportedly attacked and chopped on several regions of her body, including her neck and one of her palms, which was severed. Gordon is in critical but stable condition at the Peebles Hospital, while Peters remains on the run. Peters, a resident of Spring Gut, is also known by the nickname Vince. He's approximately 6 feet tall and between 160 and 170 pounds. A release from the RVIPF states, quote, "Police are in search of a male suspect following an apparent domestic incident at a residence in the Crab Hill area of East End, where a woman received severe wounds to her arms and body. The RVIPF is asking anyone who has seen and knows the whereabouts of Peters to call their 3-digit access number 311 or give this information at any police station around the island." The Royal Virgin Islands Police Force, RVIPF, says Rightway is prepared to offer a reward of $1,000 for information that can assist in the apprehension and conviction of the persons who robbed Right Breeze Supermarket in East End last week Thursday. Preliminary reports indicate that 3 young men went to the supermarket at about 8:30 p.m. on Thursday, wearing dark clothing and black masks, and carted off an undisclosed amount of cash. Reports are that one of the bandits pointed a firearm at the security officer, while the other 2 demanded that cash registers and the safe be opened. The 3 gunmen then fled the scene into the direction of the marina next door. The RVIPF described the assailants as being between 5 feet 10 inches and 5 feet 11 inches with slim build. Persons with information can contact the Criminal Investigation Department, CID, through the RVIPF 311 number or the Intelligence Unit at 368-9339. Persons can also report the information to Crime Stoppers through its Miami-based hotline 800-8477. That's 800-8477. And still to come on JTV News, car plunges over a cliff in Virgin Gorda. TRC CEO says the controversial telecoms levy is necessary for its modernization.
We are not here to collect monies and to filter it to the government. No, that's not fair, because at the end of the day, as the consumer is saying, it's something that's going to be passed on to the consumers.
Plus hot trends with the one and only Sophie B checking out some very hot wheels at Nibs Auto.
We brought a new line of Samsung vehicles. Christmas is right around the corner, and Santa Claus is going to be able to give some free.
But first, other news making headlines in the Caribbean.
Here in the Virgin Islands, we are blessed to live and work in paradise. Paradise just doesn't mean our tranquil blue waters and green hills. National Bank of the Virgin Islands defines paradise as any place or condition that fulfills your aspirations. To me, paradise means knowing that I will have a financing partner when I'm ready to open my first business. I feel confident that I can manage whatever life throws my way because I know my bank will be with me every step of the way. That's why I choose National Bank of the Virgin Islands, the official bank of paradise.
My future's looking so bright, 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 bright. With the official bank of paradise, dice, 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 dice. Paradise.
National Bank of the Virgin Islands, the official bank of paradise.
Brazilian football fans have been devastated by a horrific plane crash which claimed the lives of all but 3 of the members of the Chapecoense football team, who were among the 71 passengers, including journalists and flight staff, who died when the charter plane went down on Monday night. The team, accompanied by journalists, were on their way to play their first match in the final round of the South American Cup. Preliminary evidence from the investigation show that the airplane, which was only a few minutes away from landing in Colombia after leaving Bolivia, ran out of fuel. Bolivia's aviation authority has suspended the operating license of the Lamia charter airline involved in the accident. Former Cuban leader Fidel Castro, a man feared and hated by many, but who was also loved and revered by others, has died. Castro passed away last Friday at 90 years of age. He was the longest-serving non-monarch world leader after governing Cuba for 49 years after taking the reins of power in a bloody coup in 1959. Reactions to the communist leader's death were swift and polarizing. Cuban exiles in Miami celebrated the passing of a dictator and the dawn of what could possibly be a new era. But Cubans back home, stunned by the news, joined snaking lines to view the body of El Comandante. 9 days of mourning is being observed in Cuba. Castro's ashes will be interred on December 4 at a memorial which will be attended by world leaders and celebrities, including Danny Glover and Zimbabwean President Robert Mugabe. Grenadians voted overwhelmingly last Thursday to reject a historic referendum which sought to bring major changes to the Spice Islands' 42-year-old constitution. On the ballot were 7 bills, including fixed election dates, term limits for prime ministers, replacing the UK Privy Council with the Caribbean Court of Justice, and changing the country's name to Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. In what was a low voter turnout, only just about 21,000 of the more than 72,000 registered voters showed up to cast their ballots. Coming up next on JTV News, car plunges over a cliff in Virgin Gorda. TRC CEO says the controversial telecoms levy is necessary for its modernization. Plus, hot trends with the one and only Sophie B checking out some very hot wheels at Nibs Auto.
What's your idea of holiday happiness?
Watching the kids open presents. Preparing for a new arrival.
The look on his face. Add to your holiday happiness with a Scotia Plan loan from Scotiabank. You could win cash and more. Get your loan today at your nearest branch. Conditions apply.
Get set for a super fast Christmas with Flow Broadband. Sign up now and get free installation and Wi-Fi modem as our gift to you. Upgrade your speed for just $5 extra per month for 3 months. Plus, a chance to win a special free gift. All this and much more with Flow this wonderful Christmas. Visit us in store today.
Welcome back to JTV News. Calbert Brown, aka Bujo, a native of St. Vincent, and Dexter Kotoy, aka Deki, a native of Guyana, lost their lives in a car accident in Virgin Gorda on November 28, 2016. The two, who were said to have been on their way to North Sound, met their demise when the car belonging to Kotoy careened off the side of a hill in the vicinity of Savannah Bay. The Royal Virgin Islands Police Force, RVIPF, confirmed the incident, stating, quote, "Initial inquiries indicate that the two men were traveling from the valley to North Sound when the accident occurred. The vehicle was found approximately 150 feet downhill of the cliff which overlooks the Savannah Bay beach. The bodies of the two were found inside the vehicle." Virgin Gorda police officers, along with fire and rescue services, medical personnel from the Nurse Iris O'Neill Clinic, the accident victims' employer Yates and Associates, among others, assisted at the scene. The Telecommunications Regulatory Commission, TRC, isn't too keen on waiting any longer for revenue from a new tax, which in fact should have been introduced 9 years ago when the Telecommunications Liberalization Act took effect in 2006. The three local firms in the BVI, CCT, Digicel and Flow, want to see the back of the annual industry levy, which CEO of the TRC, Guy Malone, says the agency has been preparing the players for over the past year. A not-so-new revenue measure is about to take effect in the British Virgin Islands. The Industrial Telecommunications Levy has local telecoms players on edge because they would like to avert its imposition, and so they're in earnest talks with the government. But I've been here to speak with the CEO of the TRC, that's the Telecommunications Regulatory Commission, Guy Malone, and he says the industrial levy is a necessary one.
We find it necessary that we must now, as per what is stimulated in the operator's license and in their act, and in the Telecoms Act, that we must implement that, because the 3% that we get as per stipulated in the Act, any surplus from that, we must turn that surplus over to the consolidated funds, which is government. In essence, with the way things going, we see the need now to bring the industry levy into play. We had meetings with 2 of the 3 mobile operators, and we're still waiting to have meeting with 1. And in all fairness, I think we haven't alluded that we explain them what sort of the percentage would be, but then we have to sit around the table and we have to negotiate with them in good faith. We are waiting for the Premier and his team reviewing, and with reference to that, then we would then work out all of the nitty-gritties with the operators, and each would get an invoice to know what they would pay.
The TRC's CEO says while operational costs require the new levy for which the introduction timeline is being kept mum, the rate for the industry tax could be in the region of 3.5% and will be done in a way to allow telecommunications firms room to adjust.
We are starting this year by only actually wanting half of what it is, and over a 3-year period is when we would then look about getting 100% with respect to what the industry levy should be. The Commission cannot appear to be making a profit. The monies that we don't get monies from government, we get monies from all of the operators, the 4 of them. Right now we get the 3%, which is 3% royalty. We are asking for industry levy. It's about another, I would say, since I said we are cutting it in half, it's about another 3.5%.
The regulator's expansion projects include the hiring of a foreign consultant as chief legal advisor 1 year ago, with a local legal advisor recruited to understudy that consultant, a chief economist, and the construction of a modern monitoring station.
We have just completed the Spectrum Award, where we have allocated LTE spectrum. One of the projects in our plan is to construct a monitoring station at Sabbath Hill, which we should be monitoring each and every spectrum that we allocate. Right now we have spectrum analyzer that we ride around in a vehicle, but it's not good enough. We shouldn't wait to get a complaint that there are interference. We should be out there on a daily basis monitoring the spectrum, and that's an important initiative. And in order to do that, it's beyond the realm of the 3%. It's time and effort. And I would tell you, consultants that work in the telecommunication field and don't come cheap. They're very expensive.
And with the Christmas season upon us, while it may not be physically possible to get some goodies, gifts and food to persons countless miles beyond the shores of the British Virgin Islands, residents are reminded that the simple act of remembering those persons can go a far way. This was the message from Minister of Communications and Works, the Honourable Mark Vanterpool, had for residents last Sunday's lighting of the Christmas tree at the Sir Oliver George Plaza in Roetown, Tortola.
It was the staging of the 37th annual Christmas tree lighting of the Lions Club of the British Virgin Islands in collaboration with the Leo Clubs of the British Virgin Islands Christian Council, an event that was well attended by many. Minister for Communications and Works, Honourable Mark Vanterpool, who is also the 4th district representative, sounded the challenge for persons to remember the less fortunate at this festive time.
But you know, as you read in the Bible and as you learned in Sunday school, the example of Jesus wasn't about being in the high places with the high officials, or tending to those who had great riches, or going to the great parties and the great functions. Jesus is one who showed humility, lived among those and tried to help those who needed help, those who didn't have. And that is the spirit of Christmas that we know about here in the Virgin Islands. We take a little time out of our lives at this time, even if we are guilty of not doing so all year round, as we should do. But we take a little time out during this time to look out for those who may not have, those who may be struggling, those who have big families and can't all buy gifts for all of their little ones. And we try to make sure that they can enjoy a wonderful Christmas time in the spirit of love and joy at Christmas time, as was exuded by Jesus, our Lord and Savior.
Vanterpool made a plug for persons living afar in dire straits to be remembered too at this time of year.
But then we also take a little time, as we are so well connected to the entire world today by television and news and the internet. And when we learn of so many all over the world who are in such desperate need, we take our time and reflect right now on Syria, where the bombs are falling and little children are dying and little children are being buried in the rubble. And there are those who are out there struggling to take them out of the rubble and see if they can live. You see it on television. We don't stop and reflect sufficiently. But that is what is happening throughout the world. We take a moment, reflect on a place called Mosul in Iraq, where right now they're in battle. And the innocent ones are suffering. The little ones are suffering. They're being used as human shields as the battle goes on and rages in Mosul in Iraq. And ladies and gentlemen, when you think back on what is happening in many of the refugee camps all over the world, especially in the Far East, and you think of what is happening when they're trying to get a better life by crossing the channels and drowning, and some of them making it but still meeting the hard life, Christmas time is a time for us to reflect on those people and pray for them and wish God's help and God's blessings on them.
Like sentiments were expressed by Lyons District Governor Subdivision 60B, Marvin Grant, who also encouraged the persons to remember the true reason for the season, the birth of Jesus Christ.
This evening, as we embark on another lighting of the Christmas tree, which is symbolic of the beginning of another festive season here in the territory, I ask that we reflect on the world around us. Beautiful citizens of the BVI and residents and citizens of the BVI, we are at a time in the world where lots are happening. Wars, famines, natural disasters, less love and compassion among human beings, and the list can go on and on and on. Each of these places its own burden on humanity. As such, we are in a world where there are lots of good things to be had, but fewer persons being able to afford them or obtain them. This year, I again urge that we pay keen attention to the reason for the season, and that is the birth of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, who throughout his life shared his wealth, love, and blessings abundantly with all of mankind.
For JTV News, I'm Kathy Richards.
And now it's time to check in with Sophie B for hot trends and the new line of motor cars being unveiled in the BVI by Nibs Auto.
JTV Hot Trends is your girl, the one and only Sophie B, and today we are here in the heart of Road Town with Nibs Auto Sales and Parts, and they have a wonderful sale going on. They have a new line of vehicles, and I'm here with Mike and Mr. Nibs. How you guys doing today?
Very good, very good.
Yes, we are here. We are alive and kicking, and we want to push this line, and we're going to make it a success.
Well, give us a little insight about Nibs Auto Sales and Parts.
Yeah. Well. Nibs Auto Sales and Parts is a company that is about the oldest automotive company here in town. And we do everything in automotive from A to Z. If you say automotive, you say Nibs. Now we brought a new line out for Samsung vehicles. And we are hoping that this line would take off and everyone would come and get one. And Christmas is right around the corner, and Santa Claus is going to be able to give some free. And whoever don't get one from Santa Claus, they check us, and we would assist them, and we would give them one. But anyone that buy one would get one free-ish.
And now, Mike, we are here. I understand you have a new line. Tell us a little bit about the new line.
Okay, the new line, as you all know, is called Sanyong. It's made out of Korea. It's a company that started to do business just after the Korean Wars, like many companies that are offering Korean products. They started in 1954. They've been in business for 62 years. Through the years, they were one of the first ones to start selling four-wheel drive vehicles. Back in the year 2000, they started to specialize in coming up with small, medium, and higher level SUVs.
6-speed automatic transmission, which is BMW technology, the same they put in the Minis. We have ABS braking for your safety, as well as parking assist for front and rear of the car. That lets you know how close you are to the car in front of you or behind you when you're going to park. On the inside of these Tivolis, you have a leather-wrapped steering wheel, volume control for your radios, as well as Bluetooth for your phone, which can pair this way hands-free talking. It also has a Tiptronic transmission, which you can drive like a standard if you'd like by shifting it manually with a button. You also have 7 airbags for curtains and whatnot for safety, as well as your knees. So it's a very safe car.
Nibs Auto Sales and Parts, ladies and gentlemen, check them out. Their brand new line. You can get yourself a Tivoli, and the new line is Ssangyong. Ssangyong, ladies and gentlemen. JTV Hot Trends, your girl, the one and only Sophie B. Until we come your way again, bye-bye.
Up next in our Medical Minute, how robots are saving lives and winning hearts in the operating rooms.
The robot lets you make small, very precise movements.
Dr. Geronimo Jones is next with that report from the Mayo Clinic. Stay tuned.
Eureka, located in the British Virgin Islands. Come, discover Eureka Medical Clinic, which provides the most complete medical services in the Virgin Islands. Our state-of-the-art clinic offers the highest quality in specialty care, cardiology, gastroenterology, orthopedics, and spinal surgery. We also offer specialty care in obstetrics and gynecology, as well as dermatology. Eureka Medical Clinic offers diagnostic procedures such as x-rays, mammograms, CAT scans, and all forms of ultrasound exams. Now, for the first time in the BVI, Eureka offers MRI scanning too. With colonoscopy and gastroscopy, we check the intestines and stomach for polyps, colon cancer, and ulcers too. Located at Geneva Place in the heart of Road Town, Eureka Medical Clinic with Medicare Pharmacy and Labs offers you a comprehensive medical facility all under one roof. So for high-quality medical services and convenience, there's no need to look any further. Eureka! You found it.
Some surgical patients at Mayo Clinic are benefiting from technology that seems as if it's pulled science fiction movie. Robots perform surgical procedures such as placing stents to the open block arteries through the body. The remote control robots are very precise and may help improve outcomes for some patients. In this Mayo Clinic Minute, Vivian Williams talks to interventional radiologist Sanjay Misra about how the robots help enhance patient care.
Mayo Clinic radiologists have a new team member, a robot.
This is going to sound like Star Wars.
Dr. Sanjay Misra says the robotic navigational system helps them implant stents to open blockages in arteries throughout the body.
The robot lets you make small, very precise movements.
Doctors control the robot from a console about 10 feet away from the patient.
You drive the robot using 2 joysticks.
Benefits of robotic surgery over standard surgery may include improved accuracy, improved patient safety, shorter operation times, and less radiation exposure for the medical team. Dr. Misra says similar technology, which is also used for prostate cancer surgery and some heart surgeries, offers exciting possibilities for the future.
It'll be like MapQuest. You'll say, I'm at this point here. You'll tell the robot, I want to go there. And the robot will say, this is the fastest way to go. And you'll say go, and then you'll watch it do the work.
But no matter how intelligent the robot gets, Dr. Misra says the physician will always be in control to make sure the patient gets the best care possible. For the Mayo Clinic News Network, I'm Vivian Williams.
And before we go, a brief look at the main headlines. Andrew Foy unseats Julian Fraser as chairman of the VIP. Police in search of a man who reportedly viciously chopped an East End woman. Car plunges over a cliff in Virgin Gorda, killing 2 men on board. And TRC CEO says the controversial telecoms levy, which will be implemented soon, is necessary for the agency's modernization. And in regional news, airplane crashes in Colombia, killing Brazilian football team members and journalists on board, and former Cuban leader Fidel Castro to be buried on Sunday. Just a reminder that you can find all the news stories featured in this newscast as well as previous newscasts on our website, jtvlive.net. Additional information and news updates can be found on our Facebook page, facebook.com/JTV55. If you haven't already, please visit our Facebook page to let us know that you like us. Of course, all our news features, press conferences, and JTV's television programs can be found on our JTV News YouTube channel. Subscribe for daily uploads. We welcome your questions and comments. Email us at jtvnews@hotmail.com. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Peter G. Coombs. Thanks for watching.